Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us today on this episode of the Good Side podcast. Please join us every week as we talk about current events, relationship issues, and just about anything that concerns our life. We aim to highlight the positivity in the world, the goodness of God, and of course, the goodness in people. Whether it's a story, a person, or a situation, there's always some good to be found. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we have a very special guest this episode. This is coming into the month of November, and I really did not come up with a really good introduction for you because I think
that's good. Actually,
it's like it would probably take the whole episode for your introduction. No, but this man is also a man of God, fellow Christian, and I am just very excited for all these projects that are coming up for you.
Thank you.
And thank you for accepting our invitation on the Good Side.
Thank you.
So without further ado, this is David Gleason.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet everyone.
Hi.
Leizel, thank you. It's an honor to be here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, you know what? So how about you tell us who David is, and not with what you sent me, but it's something that most people don't know.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You have 5 seconds. No, just
kidding.
My
gosh. Okay. Other than the entertainment side of things,
yes.
I love to serve God outside of the church. Mm-hmm. I'm guilty.
Oh.
I'm outside. I have friends who do some things in some very unusual places for the Lord. Mm-hmm. And I love anything with impact.
Okay.
So people tend to look at me as like an administrative type person, but that's not me. Mm-hmm. I like going to places where the action is and impact and really helping people where they are. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a campy answer or not, but that's something people don't really know about me.
No, that's really good. That's really good. So how about your wife?
Oh my gosh.
How are you related to
oh my gosh.
the Filipino community?
I feel so sorry for my wife. My wife has such a hard time. Oh, God must be blessing her with a lot of patience with me.
Oh, absolutely.
I had a first marriage that lasted 20 years, and it was a good 8 years afterwards. I really didn't know what was going on, and had been learning a lot about myself, and God showed me a lot of things about myself. Mm-hmm. And I don't even want to promote the book, but I actually read this book called The Love Dare. Major influence. And they tricked me, though.
Okay.
They tricked me. They said, this is for the women. Women are going to read this, and they're going to find out what's wrong with them. Mm-hmm. And they got me good. And what you do in the book is you find out what's really wrong with yourself, the way God designed men, women, marriage.
Wow.
Yeah. And he prepared me because, as you know in the Word, God can't give you the gift until you're ready to receive it.
That's true.
Right? He wants the full blessing.
That's true.
And I was decent in a lot of places, but I really missed the boat when I live by Matthew 6:33, to seek him first and all of his righteousness. Then all of these things will be added unto you. Mm-hmm. That's what I try to live by now.
Okay.
And you discover that in the Love Dare book if you put him first. Mm-hmm. And then you find out what it means to have a wife, to love her the way Jesus loved the church. Mm-hmm. You know, what did he do for the church, right? Mm-hmm. He died for the church. Mm-hmm. He lived for the church. Mm-hmm. He nurtured the church. And I'm still working on all that. I bet you my wife would tell you that I don't do all those things exactly very well. But I do my best to try to get there. And she's just a phenomenal woman of God. We all have little things, but I consider her, I know it sounds crazy, but she's my Proverbs 31 wife.
Oh, nice.
And so
yes.
God blessed me with that gift after I was prepared to receive it. And I tricked her. We got married in Locos Norte.
Oh my gosh!
Pastor
See, that's
Vic.
why I mentioned
Yeah.
for you folks that are listening and watching. That's why I mentioned his wife, because his wife is Filipina.
Ilocano Filipina.
Ilocano Filipina. That's why I
my
mentioned
gosh.
how about your wife?
Yeah.
Not being nosy or anything, but I just wanted to point that out because that's our people.
It
So
is
you're
your
kinda
peeps. It's a phenomenal place. I almost didn't come back.
Yes.
I've been there twice. Got married the second time, and I gotta tell you, if my son and my daughter weren't at their latter years of high school and just out of high school, I might have stayed.
Oh, wow.
I just love the Philippines. I love the people. The people are amazing. And even here, when I was working with V Asian TV and all those guys, we would go to these different gatherings. The people are so loving, and they're so. They seem like they're chaotic, but they're not. You could walk into a place that looks like it's just going crazy. It all falls into place.
Right.
We did our marriage roundup in less than 3 weeks.
Oh.
We had 70 people from all over the islands that came in less than 3 weeks to this wedding.
Yes.
And we had everything go like clockwork. It was better than any production I've ever been in. I mean, it was amazing. Other than the fact the air conditioning didn't work and there's sweat pouring down my face, which is great. But just so lucky to have my wife.
Yeah.
Just blessed by God. And we have a great daughter.
Right.
And now we got mom. We got Myrna.
Oh, nice.
Myrna Flores.
Oh, mom is here
Mom
now.
is here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great. That's
yeah.
great. That's great. Family is always good.
Very important.
Family is good.
Yeah.
So the one thing about Filipinos, no matter what struggles or uncomfortable situation we're faced in, there's always a smile there.
Every time. Even after they go through it, they come out of it pretty quick.
So in your wedding, even though the AC went out and everybody's sweating, everybody's still focused on the fact that you're getting married.
Absolutely.
So they don't even care.
They didn't bounce right off of them. They could sweat 200 degrees, they'd be okay.
Nope. They would do that line dance like it's no tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
It was fantastic.
So I was reading your bio that you sent me. Man, you're like a celebrity.
Oh boy, no.
All these.
I'm an unknown celebrity. How can you be one of those?
All these movie productions that you were part of. That was really
Yeah,
amazing.
but it's mostly behind the camera. Yeah,
but still, like a movie won't be a movie without someone that wrote it and directed, and so it's a collaborative effort.
I have been given favor by God with a lot of wonderful people in the industry who poured their knowledge and teaching into me and gave me some opportunity. So it's really a blessing from Him. Again, the same thing about the gift. I went graduated from South Dakota State in theater. I got a BA in theater, BS in speech, and went to LA to be rich and famous.
Oh, okay.
Neither of those two things worked very well for me. But I did get on a few shows, started working on a few shows behind the scenes, but mostly in art department, design and production and project coordination. So you mentioned Ray Donovan earlier in our talks. I was a good friend of mine was a producer of that show, and before I knew it, when he came to visit, I was in the middle of a job interview. Didn't really know I was being interviewed.
Wow.
And he was funny. His name's John. He's from Brooklyn, New York. One of my all-time great friends and just most respected guys I know. And so for Nevada, when they bring a project from LA, they have a whole bunch of different spaces to fill. So he gave me a list of those needs, and I went out and found people, and of course worked with people I knew and brought them in. And
so
I was the Vegas coordinator.
That's how you ended up in Las Vegas, because you had a project from LA and you brought it to Vegas.
No, I wish it was that nice. It's funny. That's a good question. Nobody's really asked me that question.
Wow. Okay. Well, now I think it's time.
Wow. Okay. There's an old sci-fi TV show called Babylon 5. I worked on Babylon 5.
Okay.
The older generation would know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And then when it wrapped, there were some issues with me and my wife, my first wife, that I had to give up career for. I had to give up my career in LA, and I was at the pinnacle, by the way, of that.
Oh.
But her family was here, and we had been coming up here a couple of times, and my son Shane was born during Babylon 5 in Burbank.
Okay.
And we were struggling, but the two of us, and I thought by moving to Vegas it would be better. That's how I ended up moving here. And I don't want to bore your audience with the whole rest of all of those years, but that's what got me here.
Okay, so you moved here in the hopes of making your marriage work.
Yes, I gave up. I did.
That's what
I thought, her family had a lot to do with that, with my son and his cousin's only 4 months different from him, and we were right down the street, and all those things seemed wonderful, but then I found out there wasn't a lot of production going on in Vegas. It's all the hotel industry or the convention industry. It's very little on projects that you can survive on as an artist. And I think if you had 100 people in here that did all different forms of entertainment in film, they would tell you the same thing to this day, that it's not consistent.
It's not,
right? So my job now is to go with my new project and get people in there to make it more consistent for them.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That's good. See? Yeah. So I believe that when your decision to move here is an act of love, right? You acted because you love your wife, you wanted to make the marriage work, right? But we make our plans, but what did it always say? The Lord's plan always supersedes,
right? Just like your Romans 8:28. That's what you live by, right?
Yes, that's why. So I feel like, yes, so looking back at that time, it was the best decision you could have ever done, right? Because it was an act out of love. But then it ended up not being what you hoped for, right?
Yes.
But then God had a better plan. So now fast forward.
Always does.
Do you fast forward?
Yes.
Do you regret that decision of coming here still? Given that you have all of this now?
Boy, you got some good ones today. You're hitting me good here, Leizel. No, I don't. There are things that you can say, I regret. I could have been working here, working with these people there. At the end of the day, my relationship with God got better.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, that's really what matters first.
Yes.
And so if you look at life through that lens, pardon the pun, if you look at that life through that lens, boy, that sounded... I don't know. Someone wrote that.
Right. Then
you realize that's what's most important. Getting back to Matthew 6:33, right? So I through all of the struggles, which were many, I was drawn closer to Christ, and the Father and the Holy Spirit. So.
And this is where you met your wife, right?
I met my Proverbs 31 wife here. I met her online. I got to be honest with you. I met her online. You want to hear that story real fast?
Sure, yes, absolutely.
It's a good one.
Yes.
Just as part of it. I had been divorced and, asking God about, where was I going to have someone, a godly woman in my life later, and what was, then I got the whole love dare thing. And as I did that, you sign up for those sites, right?
Yes.
Like all those. It's a good sell in the beginning. We're like, oh, you can, pick and choose, and you can list all these wonderful things that you want in a person.
I have experienced those.
Yes, I know, everybody, right? Now, the truth is, it does, in the beginning, if you're honest, which is important, if you're honest and you go through and you go like, well, God's important to me and this is important to me, then you can weed out people who go, maybe not this, maybe not that. But I finally got fed up with the whole thing, to be honest with you. So my wife and I were on cherry blossoms.
Okay.
And I didn't know this. My wife's family, they were some of the first conversions to Christianity in the Philippines.
Okay.
They go way back.
Oh, nice.
And they're very strong. They planted churches, Christian churches in the Philippines. It's a phenomenal family.
Yes.
Right? So supposedly, I find this hard to believe, but they were praying for a godly man for my wife.
Oh.
And I didn't find this out till later. But I had filled out my bio, and I said, listen, all those things about physical needs and money
And like
and
walks in the park.
all
and
those things, and
sunsets.
I go, I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay through all those things. All I want to know is, who is Jesus Christ to you? That's what I want to know first. And all of a sudden, all of them disappeared. I mean, like all of them. And there was a lot of craziness of people, right?
Of course.
Only one person returned a response to me, and that was my wife.
Oh, nice.
She said, I loved your bio, your new deal, and this is who Jesus is to me. And I said, wow, I feel like I'm going to marry you. I didn't tell her that right then.
Right. But you were thinking it
I
already.
was led by God, like, that's an incredible woman. That's it.
Wow.
That's my gift.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a true story.
That's amazing. See,
I don't know if she'll say it's as good.
I'm a big believer of love. Seriously, I love to hear love stories, happy endings. That's my thing. I should have named my
the love good side, the love side. Now then it'd be like a disco thing. Yeah, you don't want to.
My other thing too is called love wins. Like because love wins.
Love does win.
Because that's how God was able to win the evilness.
Absolutely.
Because he sent his son.
The greatest love.
Out of love. And Jesus also died for love. And so I always say love wins no matter what. No matter what.
All designed by him, which is the whole marriage thing, right?
Yep.
Or man and a woman. And not just love wins, but he's the first love, right?
Yes.
In Revelation.
Yes.
Don't leave your first love, who's God, right? That's very good. Yeah, you got to replace that. You got to change the whole sign.
Right? No, I want it to be, I want it to be warm and welcoming, and because
you got a great heart, I can tell.
Not everybody is, but everybody will say that's good, right?
Right.
Oh, I want to be on the good side. Like this is good.
It is.
Everybody always says the word good, so I'm like, no, okay, that's gonna be what the name is. Right. And then I just put, the Romans 8:28 because that's my kind of like my mantra. Because as long as you recognize God and you have a love for God, and He called you to do His work. You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. Even when you make wrong decisions.
Absolutely.
He'll take them and make them right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
So,
I agree 100%.
So as as long as he wakes you up the next day and you're still going on with your life and you may not still, to this day, I still go through that. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. And sometimes I'm
Welcome to the club.
Sometimes I'm so sure this is going to be it. This is the business, And then all of a sudden I'm like, maybe I should go this way, but, I always try to go back to center, and ask God. And, He created us with our own specific characters, right?
Characteristics for sure.
Yes, and
You're
He
unique
knows
in and of yourself.
Unique, yes, and He knows how to communicate with us directly, just like how He would communicate directly to you may be different how He communicates directly to me.
Yes.
But as long as you have that open ear and heart to receive that message,
Amen.
You can't go wrong.
Wow, look
so
at
for you, I feel like, with this movie that you are producing, very excited about it. I know that seed has been planted in your heart, and that He will equip you with all the tools, all the people you need to connect with to make it happen.
Indeed. God bless you. Yes, and He has. I was listening to another brother January of this year. I've never lacked counsel. God's always given me elder counsel.
Yes,
right?
that's great.
I really appreciate. But He made something clear to me when I said, this calling, I've had this calling since 1985. I've done it here. And He goes, David, let me clarify something for you. That's not a calling. It's an assignment. Ooh. You've been assigned to do this.
Yes.
And it really sunk in because I'd always, heard about, I don't know, people have asked me about being a pastor and all these other things. And like, no, I have my calling. I always thought it was a calling. He goes, no, the calling is like a journey out in mission work. This is an assignment. And if you look at the way it's designed, built, shot, structured to go hit the market on a global scale, penetrating both markets, the secular market and the Christian market, right? Which is what I truly believe this is going to do with truth, angelic and demonic warfare, right? This is an assignment that I've been called to do for God.
Wow.
I don't want to say like I'm like a blues brother or anything. Only the older crowd would get that. But it really is an assignment from God.
So I know that you would be the best person to describe this movie, right? So if you had to pitch this movie to me.
Wow.
That, you know, like that, what is that called? The 2-minute pitch?
The high pitch?
The high pitch.
Wow.
How would you pitch it to me? I know, start with the title.
Sure. Atmos forces.
Atmos
it's a little
forces.
strange.
Yes.
Before we get into that description, Atmos is short for atmosphere.
Okay.
Right? So
I was trying to figure that out.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the forces that operate in the atmosphere.
Yes.
And even underground, it's actually, the Bible says there's 3 heavens, right? Celestial, terrestrial, except then third heaven, right? At least. There may be more, but I mean, that's in the New Testament. So angels have certain capabilities to transcend different atmospheres, heavens, and even parallels. And with science going into, not going too far into physics here, different portals, different ways to transmit and move, right? So we also know that a third of the angels follow Lucifer and were kicked out of heaven, right? Yes. So Lucifer is sent to kill, steal, and destroy mankind. God sends his angels and, of course, his only begotten Son, but his angels to protect mankind. So the premise is, as in Hebrews, it says, it is given unto man once to die. Then after that, the judgment. There's an appointed time. So this whole thing is about our appointed times. And so gatekeepers, if you're in that middle ground of being undecided, gatekeepers are assigned to give you a ticket. And it's a supernatural ticket that disappears after you receive it. But it warns you of the demonic forces that are coming against you. And of course, angelic forces are sent to defend you. So you have the free will choice to arrive at that appointed time. You choose whatever. You know, we're just assigned, like, here's your deal. Your time is up. It's written. It's in the book of life. Everything is written. That's what the word says, right? So this movie does deal in all those supernatural areas, and it is pitched as a sci-fi.
It is like a sci-fi,
but it's biblically based, and then beyond that is the natural, which is real the story.
Yes.
So the story is about John Bennett, who comes back from Afghanistan after his third tour gets decimated, and he struggles with PTSD his whole life, which is a major part of our storyline. Okay. Dealing with John and the veterans. Veterans are a huge importance to me, along with the youth and the homeless. Those are the main 3 pillars of the messages of this brand, right? So he gets his ticket. He finds out some of his men have been taken out without his knowledge, and he finds out what's going on, and then he gets into this race car, the Pennzoil 400, so to speak. It's like one of those big car races, and he has a near fatal car crash. So when they revive his body, he finds himself in the hospital in a coma for a short period of time. While he's there, it gets kind of dark and it's kind of rough, but a satanic cult that is controlled through part of the law system, working with these other people, target him for sacrifice.
Oh gosh!
And they plant some opiates on him to make it look like he caused the accident, right? So he gets railroaded through the system. He finds himself. Are you familiar with KKVV radio? Yep. Okay, so I wrote this with the 2 characters I met from KKVV. Oh. This is based on 2 of these guys. Oh, wow. Right? So it's not KKVV in the film because we can't do that without their approval. But he gets assigned to be a host who counsels veterans and youth contemplating suicide and dealing with PTSD and recovery. So that's his court assignment. While he's there, he finds out that this cult actually is not targeting him, but they've targeted his son, Joey.
Oh my gosh!
And
There's a twist
Now,
after
I don't want to give the whole thing away.
Don't
I
give
probably
the
just
whole
gave
thing
a
away.
big deal
No,
part of it away.
No, but don't. No, no. Let's not.
So
let's
anyhow, the
keep
battle
on,
goes after that.
Wow.
He rounds up the troops and it gets really intense. And,
Wow.
And then it becomes beyond the film. Now, here's a key phrase you should remember. The theme is sacrifice. Because he learns about the sacrifice that God gave his only son at the radio station. And so he has to make a determination of what he's going to do for his son. Let's just leave it at that.
Yes.
Okay?
And you have a trailer for this, right?
I do.
Okay, what is the website?
Well, and you know what? A trailer's not the right... I shouldn't say it's a trailer.
I'm sorry, not trailer. What is it called? A teaser?
Concept teaser.
A teaser.
Yeah,
a teaser.
It's about 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but it's on atmosforces.com.
Atmosforces.com.
You can go to atmosforces.com and see the TV series we're going to make out of it. It's going to be a trilogy. It's going to be a comic book and a video game.
Wow.
Which I'm finding out that is more crazy than the films. People are asking about the video game.
I know.
So yeah, you can see that, and I've just been blessed with some incredibly gifted and talented people. Honestly, I'm not kidding. The best crew of people that worked with me on this. That some of the people did work on the Marvel movies,
right,
and some did like Shazam, and then there's some other films on the site that you can see, right? And so I'm really blessed to have some major people involved with it that are really cool. And I got to tell you, they were just so laid back and super creative and so focused. We got easily 10 minutes of footage that we can actually use in the picture.
Oh, nice.
That's just phenomenal footage.
Wow.
So, and we're raising capital, but there's also contributions that you can make to get pre-tickets and downloads. But the last thing I need to leave you with, at least, Leizel, is it's a community, it's a movie movement.
Okay.
And you know who coined that phrase? Your friend and my friend, Mr. Michael Franklin, which is how we met.
Yes.
Who did my website and works with my other dear friend, Chef Freedom, is here today, doing the social media and the artwork.
I like that movie movement.
Because
I like that. Yes.
We made it so that we're starting to put nonprofit organizations that are having impact. Remember the whole thing about impact?
Yes.
They're having impact in the communities of homelessness, veterans for sure, and recovery. So we're putting different groups like that in the nonprofit area of the movement, and we're going to help them and promote them constantly, even put them in the movie and in the series.
Right.
And raise capital for them. Just off the top, 10% off the top, no matter what, goes these movements that are having impact for our community.
Yeah, because since I believe since COVID, a lot of people have been suffering of mental health. I mean, the veterans.
Yes.
They've been having PTSD. That has been an ongoing issue, right?
Yeah.
But then the mental health industry has just gotten so much busier.
It has.
Because of what we had to deal with
That's
all
right.
these things that
on,
has been
on
happening.
top of the other stuff they typically dealt with, right? And I know this is not a good thing that people are. It's not bright and cheery, but people need to know that on the DoD website, it lists over 22 veterans a day take their own lives.
Oh wow!
And to be honest with you, I've had friends that are military say it's more than that.
Wow.
And it's a big issue. And it's a real issue. It's not like these aren't statistics. These are people who and their families. So
in your neighborhood.
Yeah. Yes.
So
next door.
Yeah, next door to you.
So we need to there's a lot of those issues spoken about and dealt with in the dialogue and in the action of the characters within the natural supernatural interaction. So it's really it brings a lot of things to light, but it's done in a very high-powered action drama way that's entertaining. That's the key thing. We got to be really good at what we do.
So this movie project, what is ultimately your goal that you want to achieve out of this movie project?
Okay, the awareness of those issues are a big deal. But the truth is like my goal personally is to make it better than anything's ever been done before. Right. I know it's crazy, but it's going to be the largest independent project outside of the movie system.
Right.
Like we work with people in the system, but this is a large independent massive deal. We're going to try to get to 2,000 screens U.S. and 2,000 international.
Wow. And
with an incredible actor lead, Ben Graham, who Ben's the great nephew of Billy Graham. Great actor, his wife is a great actor too.
Oh,
and he knows
nice.
That's like, yeah. And Donnie Morgan, who did a lot of the stuff with stunt and coordinating for the Marvel stuff, and man, Hamish Briggs is our Michael. You know, these guys are phenomenal actors. So there's some other names that I can't mention right now that are household names that we think are going to make some great appearances in the movie as well.
Oh, this is great. So exciting.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to be involved, wants to make a donation, wants to just help, where can they reach you?
Yes.
Website?
You go to the website. Now, they're contributions. They're not donations. Just to let you guys know.
Yes.
We're giving money to 501c3s, but we are a production company.
Yes.
Right? But there is room for everybody, especially now I'm learning the marketing phase, which my good friend Freedom is heading up for us, is super important because now it's all about like what we're doing now. Right? Like you're an influencer now, right? And a wonderful person, right?
Oh, thank you.
So we have to do a 2-month to 3-month marketing campaign to launch out to the areas where we can get people to come to the theaters. We've been told that we're going to be able to reach over 170,000 nonprofit churches and organizations.
Oh, that's amazing.
Through direct marketing, right?
Yes. Grassroots marketing.
Grassroots. And the truth is, we're actually having more success with people who are in the video game deal that love it and veterans. We're getting massive veteran support, which is really awesome. My dad served 20 years. My son's serving now. We're really big on veterans. So they go to the website. Can they call you? Or is there a number? There's a number there. That does go to my social media guy, but I do my best to answer everyone that I can, even though I'm very busy. And we love input. We love. When it comes to angelic and demonic warfare, there's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of different things people think about and do. And I love input from anybody and everywhere, all over the planet, actually, have been chiming in on their version or their thoughts of these things, which is really unique and interesting in some ways. So, yeah, they can get involved anywhere. Anybody who wants to get involved is going to be allowed to get involved. We're an independent project. Many of my people. Is there a Facebook page or? Yeah, we got email, Facebook. My email, the atmosforces@gmail.com. Okay. We've got TikTok. I will put Instagram. Okay. We got all that stuff. Chef made me do all that. Yes. Okay. So we will have all of that contact information. Yes. YouTube. When we post this episode, we will have it so everybody can be able to reach you, and we will also have it on their website. So sorry I didn't cut you off. Oh no! Yes. I get too excited. It's so fun. Like having conversation with you. Now we're out of time. Yes. We're done. We got to do it again. Yeah, absolutely. So see, it wasn't too bad. Oh, right? You're the best. See, it wasn't I was too so bad. Nervous. I didn't know if this was going to work. Oh, it's not even. You can't even tell. Okay. Can't tell. And that is the end of our show. Like I said, it has been a great experience sharing this podcast with you. Thank you. All of you and you too. Thank you so much. We hope we have inspired you and made your day better. We will have a new episode every week. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Just type The Good Side Found. And remember, an act of goodwill is always rewarded. A good gesture is always appreciated. This is your host, Leizel, wishing that you have a great week ahead. I almost had to catch my breath. Wishing that you have a great week ahead. God bless you, and join us again on The Good Side. God bless you guys. Thank you, Leizel. Thank you. Thank you.